Before we were rolling, I was asking you about when you were sort of learning to draw. As I understood it, you learned from copying photographs. That's incorrect information.
I used to draw like people. I thought you meant like I did a lot of photo reference, but
Oh, sure. Okay.
no, I used to draw a lot of people when I was a kid and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, because it's interesting because before you'd come along, we had associated realistic comic art with, say, Neil Adams. But now with your art, it's a completely different perspective and a completely different type of realism. Had that ever occurred to you that you were doing realistic art, but it didn't look anything else like, say, Gene Colan or Neil Adams had ever done?
No, I didn't really think of it in terms of like how it compared with everything else out there. It was just like doing what I felt looked right.
I first was exposed to your work with Justice League. Now, was there anything you had done before then professionally, or was that the first thing?
I made pizza.
Really? That's amazing. And how long after you started on Justice League did you quit making pizza?
Oh, well, all right. Well, okay, before Justice League, that was actually a semi-joke. I was working 9 to 5 at Marvel doing art corrections because they had a program called Ramita's Raiders,
Okay.
where they would take people they thought had potential and have them work 9 to 5 doing art corrections so that they could learn some tricks here and there about storytelling, as well as start networking with some of the professionals. And I was there for about 3 months, I think. And then I got a gig doing a book at DC called Wild Card. Then I did the first issue of that, and it was never published. From that, Marvel offered me Silver Surfer.
Sure.
And I'm like, ooh, that would be cool, Silver Surfer. And to counter that offer, DC offered me Justice League. So Justice League was the first book that I did that was published.
So here you are, you're on your first published book, and within a year, as far as I remember, you actually won the Comic Book Buyer's Guide Award for Most Popular Artist of the Year. You beat out Frank Miller, John Byrne, George Perez. Am I correct in that?
Oh, I don't remember. Maybe I'll take your word for that.
Yeah, and I think it was 87.
Did your research, yeah. So.
And I remember it happening. I just remember thinking, this is great, this book that came out of nowhere. And I mean, really, when you first started it, I'm assuming everything sort of grew organically. Like, as far as I remember, you didn't all actually plan for it to be funny. It was sort of just evolved that way, right?
Yeah. At first, the first few issues were fairly straightforward. And then they would start throwing little humorous bits in there, and they saw that people were responding to that, so then it became more and more humorous, and maybe a little too much humorous, but, yeah.
What was the reason you originally left? You left around number 24 or so, and then Adam
Yeah.
Hughes came on, or Ty Templeton.
Well, I haven't done a monthly book since, so maybe that gives you some idea of why I haven't. 2 years on a book is a pretty decent run, and it was time to start like trying new things and doing new characters and stuff like that. So, Comic Book Syndicate, assemble!